The morning was quiet, veiled in a pale golden mist. Chiron walked alone. His school bag hung loosely from one shoulder, nearly empty, just a notebook and a pen, though he hadn't written in days. His feet moved out of habit, tracing the same dusty path from the village, fields toward the old monastery on the hill. He hadn't been there in months. 2 weeks ago, his life had cracked silently. The teacher's gold watch had gone missing. Roby, his closest friend, was the real thief. But when the question came and Roby's eyes wavered in fear, Chiron spoke first. "I took it," he had said. 3 words. No explanation. The punishment was swift. Suspension, disgrace, whispers followed him like shadows. Roby stayed silent. People turned away. And Chiron, who had done nothing but protect a friend, was left in darkness. Still, he never told the truth. The monastery rose out of the hillside like a memory. Cracked stone steps, faded prayer flags, the smell of incense drifting faintly in the air. On the outer ledge sat the old monk, barefoot, robe the color of quiet fire, eyes closed, yet alert, as if listening to the space between leaves. As Chiron approached, the monk opened his eyes. "You've come," he said. Chiron didn't speak at first. He simply sat down beside him, cross-legged on the stone. They watched the hills in silence. The fields below lay flat and golden. Nothing moved, not even the birds. Finally, the monk asked, "What have you lost?" Chiron exhaled. "Not lost, given." The monk turned slightly. "To whom?" "To someone who never asked. I gave him my protection. I gave him my silence. And now," Chiron paused, "now everyone thinks I'm the one who took what wasn't mine." "Did you take it?" Chiron shook his head. "No." "Then why did you say you did?" "Because if I hadn't, he would have been crushed. His father, the school, the shame he wouldn't survive it. I thought I could." He paused. "But it hurts?" The monk nodded slowly, and he said nothing. "Nothing. Not even a glance. He let me burn." Another pause. Then Chiron added, "He's like a black hole. Everything goes in. Nothing comes back." The monk smiled faintly, but with sadness. "You've been watching the sky." Chiron looked down. "Sometimes it feels easier to understand space than people." "And who are you in that sky?" Chiron thought, "A planet maybe, spinning, showing one side, then the other, carrying light and shadow." The monk looked at him gently. "No, you are not a planet." Chiron looked up. "You are the sun." A silence followed. The wind stirred barely. "But I feel empty," Chiron said, "burned out, like I gave away my light." The monk turned his eyes to the horizon. "The sun gives light to all, even to those who turn away. It shines on the face of every planet, even the ones that spin into shadow. It gives and gives and gives until it burns itself into radiance." He turned back to Chiron. "The sun does not wait for gratitude. It does not ask who is worthy. It simply gives. That is its nature." Chiron's voice cracked. "But if I keep giving and no one gives back, what will be left of me?" The monk placed a hand on the ground between them. "Giving doesn't empty the sun, it keeps it burning. What empties it is bitterness. What collapses it into darkness is the refusal to shine." They sat again in silence. The sun was now low in the sky, spilling amber across the stone. Chiron whispered, "So he's a black hole?" "Yes," said the monk, "but even black holes were once stars. Stars that stopped giving, collapsed into themselves. Now they consume everything and give nothing. You saw that, and you didn't become it." Chiron blinked. "You stayed a sun." Tears formed, but they didn't fall. Something deeper moved instead, something not sadness, not pride, but clarity, stillness, light. The monk stood. "Come," he said, "let us light incense, not for justice, not for revenge, but for the sun, for the one who gives, even when no one asks." Chiron rose. The sky was turning violet. Now, as they walked toward the shrine, he asked one last question. "Will he ever know what I did?" The monk smiled. "Perhaps not, but you will, and that knowing that flame is enough to keep a sun alive." And in that moment, Chiron understood. He had not been broken. He had been ignited.